Welcome to Scholarships 101, an overview of the different types of college scholarships. My name is Zdziarski. I'm an admissions coach with my college planning team. Let's get started with debunking some myths that may be preventing you from applying for those scholarships. Myth number 1. Scholarships are only for low-income, female, and minority 4.0 GPA students who can write an essay worthy of Hemingway. This is not true. There are scholarships for everyone. Myth number 2. There's too much competition. With a large number of scholarships available, there's never too much competition. Everyone has a chance of winning scholarships. Myth number 3. They are too much work. Some scholarship applications do involve a lot of work and a lot of planning, but many of them require a simple online application. And myth number 4. If I do win a scholarship, it will be too small to really make a difference. This is not true. Every scholarship can make a difference, and one of the strategies may be for you to apply for many scholarships so that all of those small scholarships add up to make a big difference. Here's the great news. There are 2.4 million scholarships available annually, and that equals approximately $14 billion in aid. There is a lot of money available to help pay for college. It just takes some planning and hard work, and you can win some of that money for yourself. There are 3 general types of scholarships that we'll be talking about: merit scholarships, need-based scholarships, and other. Many of you have probably heard of merit scholarships and need-based scholarships, but truly the largest category of scholarships falls under the category of other. Here's some information about merit-based scholarships. Most merit-based scholarships are given to students who exceed a certain standard set by the scholarship giver. That may be the institution itself, the college or university, or it may be based on the donor who provides the funds for that scholarship, or a combination of both. Some things that colleges and universities look at when granting merit-based scholarships are academic achievement, which is the grade point average, GPA, or the standardized testing scores. It also is based on accomplishments in leadership, such as student government, organization leadership. It also may be based on school and community involvement. So that's being involved in many different types of organizations on campus, clubs, also being involved in the community through service and leadership. Here's some information for students on how to qualify for merit aid. First, it's very important to start early. I often suggest that students as early as the 9th grade begin getting involved in activities and organizations outside of the classroom. Of course, it's important to balance that with maintaining good grades and trying to take the toughest courses that they can succeed in, whether that's honors or advanced placement. It's also important, starting as early as the 9th grade, to volunteer in the community, because those service hours can translate into many different scholarship opportunities. Another strategy is playing the odds. Typically within a family, there are businesses and organizations that provide scholarships for children of their members or their employees. It's important to pursue all of those options when it's time to look for scholarships. Also, Students should aim high, making sure that they achieve the highest grades possible in each of their classes and to get fully engaged in their extracurricular achievements, trying to take on leadership roles and be highly involved in those things outside of the classroom as well. They can also appeal scholarships based on an offer that's made to them from another school. That's something a lot of people don't know about. And finally, community service hours, as mentioned before, can really translate into a lot of scholarship opportunities. More information on qualifying for merit aid is to find a niche. There are different organizations such as National Young Arts Foundation, Science Fairs, Endowment for the Arts and Poetry Foundation, those things which a student may excel in the classroom as well as outside of the classroom. These can provide great opportunities for scholarships that can help pay for college. And finally, show some need. If there's a degree of financial need, making sure you have all of your financial documentation in order, and if there's more than one student in college at a time, there may be more merit aid scholarship available to you. And an example that's given there is the Gates Millennium Scholars Program. That's a great program that you should look into and see if you qualify for that one. Here's a little quiz for you. 2 students apply for federal student aid. One is a mediocre student and one is a high achieving student. Which applicant will receive a higher award? A, the mediocre student, B, the high achieving student, C, the student who applies first, D, the better looking student, and E, cannot determine from the information given. The correct answer is E, cannot determine from the information given. There are many scholarships available for the mediocre student and the high achieving student. It's good to keep all your options open and to pursue these scholarships early and stay consistent with your search. Let's move on to need-based scholarships. Need-based scholarships are issued from the college or university where the student is applying, and it is based on information that is provided in the FAFSA or the CSS, depending on which method the school uses. It's important, remember, to get your FAFSA in as soon as possible in January of the senior year. Awards are granted to families on a first-come, first-served basis. So the earlier you get that FAFSA turned in, the better your chances are of getting need-based scholarships and financial aid. In order to find out more about need-based scholarships at a college or university, it's important to have a conversation with those in the financial aid office. Sometimes there are little scholarships that are lesser known that they may be aware of that a student may qualify for. So it's important to make a phone call or send an email to the college's financial aid office. It's also important to get to know the admissions counselor at a college or university. They may be great advocates for finding more need-based scholarships with their colleagues in the financial aid office. It's also important to search for private need-based scholarships. So there are some organizations, community-based organizations, that like to provide scholarships to students based on financial need. And then, of course, there are grants awarded by the federal government, and those are, again, issued through the financial aid office of a college or university. Where do you look for scholarships? You can search on the web, If you just use any search engine and put in the information that you're looking for, need-based scholarships, merit-based scholarships, college scholarships, use any variety of those words and you will get many, many different websites and places that you can find lots of scholarships. You also want to talk with counselors and folks in the Career Center at the high school or maybe in the community. You also want to look for scholarships with community organizations. Some examples of those are organizations such as Kiwanis. Also may find them any community organization that adults in the community participate in. They may have scholarships available for high school students. Also look for scholarships at the church. That could be the church that you attend or a family member attends. They may have scholarships to offer high school students. Fortune 500 and local companies will also provide scholarships. That's something that they do to be a good community member, and they usually advertise those readily, so they're pretty easy to find. So take advantage of those opportunities. And finally, your home state may have lots of different scholarship opportunities. You always want to check there as well. Now we're going to move to the category of other scholarships. This is a huge category because everything that isn't need-based or merit-based falls under this category. Here are some examples of other scholarships that students may qualify for. There are scholarships issued by state, as mentioned in the previous slide. There are local scholarships, so it may be based on the city or town where you live. There are scholarships for women. Some organizations provide money for female students. There's the Scholarship of the Month. There are religious scholarships, sometimes provided through a church and sometimes through other organizations. There are sports scholarships, depending on the college or university where the student is applying. Some sports scholarships may provide for the full cost of school, and some may only provide partial scholarships. There are military scholarships, whether there's a person in the family that's in the military or is a veteran of the military, there are scholarships available for family members of military. There are disability scholarships based on specific disabilities. You may be able to search that and find scholarships to help pay for the cost of college. And then there are very unusual scholarships. For example, I found in a scholarship search, I found a scholarship that was available to anyone who's a vegetarian. And in order to earn the $1,000 scholarship, the student had to provide a video explaining why it was so important to them to be a vegetarian. That's an unusual scholarship. So here are some tips for finding those scholarships. It is a numbers game. You can treat your college scholarship search like it's a part-time job, and sometimes it could even seem more like a full-time job, depending on how much money you feel that you need to pay for college. So it's a numbers game. The more scholarships you apply for, the greater your chances of winning the most scholarship money. Try to think about it as in, if you apply for 10 different scholarships, you're most likely to win at least one of those. So it truly is a numbers game. Try to apply for as many as possible. Small is the new big, and this is referring to the gift amount. It's very possible for students to earn and win many small scholarships that can add up to $5,000 and $10,000. It just takes extra effort, but it does make a difference. You can save time by creating a portfolio. In your portfolio, you can have items such as your unofficial transcript, some letters of recommendation from teachers and counselors or coaches at your school. You can have an essay already that highlights some important aspects of the student's career. And if you have those things all ready to go, it can save time when sending out a lot of different applications for scholarships. The devil is in the details. This is very important when you're doing a college scholarship search. I conducted a scholarship search for my niece who is a senior in high school and public school in her hometown of Charleston, West Virginia. When I did the search for her, we came up with 36 scholarship opportunities that matched her criteria. But the importance of it is to look through each of those scholarships to make sure that they absolutely match with her criteria, with her characteristics and qualifications. And then the devil's in the details means once you find those scholarships that match, you have to make sure to fulfill all of the obligations that it specifies in the application process for the scholarship. Basically, if you leave something out, if you don't complete one step of the application process, you will be disqualified from the scholarship. So it's very important that you follow those directions. There are no late submissions when there's a deadline, and you want to pay close attention to the details of the requirements for the scholarship. Number 5, scholarship search is a year-round sport. There's no good time or bad time to do a scholarship search. You can do it year-round through the summer, Christmas break, any of the holidays. There are scholarships available year-round. Deadlines occur year-round, and every scholarship has different criteria and different deadlines. So you just want to make sure that you put as much of your free time into the scholarship search as you can. 6, there are scholarships for everyone. Really and truly, everyone can apply for scholarships. An example of this is one of the major banks provides a scholarship, $1,000 scholarships each year for high school seniors. The only criteria is that you fill out the application, and then they are randomly selected to receive $1,000. So there is nothing that can eliminate you from winning the scholarship except the fact that you don't apply. And finally, it's never too early or too late to search. If you think that you want some scholarships for college, and who wouldn't, to help pay for the rising cost of education, then it's time now to start your scholarship search. And how do you do this? Get prepared. As I mentioned before, creating that portfolio and having it on hand can really speed up your application process. So get some letters of recommendation, just like you would for college application, and keep them on hand for applying to scholarships as well. Have your transcripts ready. Get involved in the community. So that's service outside of your school. The more things that you're involved in the community, the more opportunities may come your way to earn scholarships. Write an essay about goals. Again, this is something that once you have this essay written, it would be easy to tweak it to the requirements of a particular scholarship, and it just kind of gets you ready ahead of time to make that process a little bit easier. Have a photo of yourself that you can use to submit for some scholarships that require that, and then put that all together in a binder and organize everything and be prepared for when you have those scholarships that you find that you're ready to apply for. Get organized. Research scholarships. Again, use the internet. Try to find those scholarships that you qualify for, and be ready to apply for them before their deadlines. Create a calendar with your deadlines. So go ahead and create a calendar, whether you use one on your phone or your computer or a paper calendar, and write in your deadlines so you don't miss any of those opportunities. Remember, you can never apply for a scholarship late. You will automatically be disqualified. Create a spreadsheet. This can help you to be organized. If you create a spreadsheet that has these different items, and then you can make it, you can add some columns that would help you to stay organized. But these are some suggestions. The name of the scholarship, the application due date, when the date that the application was requested, that you requested the application, the date you received it, and then the date you submitted that, which for some online applications may all be the same date. And then the date that you call to verify that the application was received. It's always good to follow up and make sure that everything was received on time. Finally, well, not finally, but it's also important to get noticed. You want to write a very good essay, so that means you might need to have a few people read over it, have it critiqued, make sure it's edited, that you have good grammar, good spelling, and then you can ask a teacher or a counselor or someone that you know who's good at editing to read over your essay and give you some pointers to make it the best essay that you can submit. And finally, be persistent and don't give up. You may apply to many different scholarships that you don't win, but then you will also win some others, so don't give up. And here are some helpful websites. Advisors.com, you can read the list there on the PowerPoint. And what I want to point out about the websites is a lot of them will do some of the hard work for you. For example, the College Board's website, this is one of those where you can go in and set up a profile that has the student's information, and you can go ahead and put in as much information as possible, because then this website will match you based on that criteria and what the scholarship is looking for. So it does some of the legwork for you. So definitely take advantage of any of those websites where you create a profile and then you are alerted when a scholarship comes up that matches your profile. It takes a lot of the work out of it. So check out those websites, and these are just a few. There are many out there. Again, if you go on a search engine and search college scholarships, you will find many things out there. And again, my name is Catherine Zdziarski. I'm with my college planning team, and this is the first of a series of scholarship webinars. Coming soon will be more information on where to find scholarships and steps to winning scholarships. Thank you.